Bob Woodward's book, State of Denial, goes back even before the Iraq War to the days before September 11th. Did Condoleezza Rice blow off a warning from the intelligence community 2 months and a day prior to that awful morning? Roger Cressy joins me next to fact check here on Countdown. Last week, we distilled a raft of public information demonstrating that the Bush White House took no concrete steps to get al-Qaeda or Osama bin Laden prior to September 11th, 2001. There may be something in Bob Woodward's book to add to that ever-lengthening and ever-infuriating list. Our fourth story in the Countdown tonight, Woodward's revelations about just what kind of warnings the Bush administration had or did not have. Woodward's central thesis on this matter, in his words, that by July 10, 2001, CIA Director George Tenet and his counterterrorism chief, Cofer Black, had communications excerpts and other top-secret intelligence showing the increasing likelihood that al-Qaeda would soon attack the U.S., but Tenet had been having difficulty getting traction on an immediate bin Laden action plan, in part because Rumsfeld had questioned all the NSA intercepts and other intelligence. Tenet and Black met with Condoleezza Rice on July 10th. Rice this weekend denied it, but according to Woodward, she was polite, but they felt the brush off. There's also this part, not yet widely reported. Black calculated that if they had given him $500 million of covert action funds right then and reasonable authorizations from the president to go kill bin Laden, he would have been able to make great strides, if not do away with him. The CIA had about 100 sources and sub-sources operating throughout Afghanistan. Just give him the money and the authority, and he might be able to bring bin Laden's head back in a box. At that time, MSNBC terror analyst Roger Cressy was director of transnational threats on the National Security Council staff. He joins us now. Roger, thanks for your time tonight.
Good to see you, Keith.
My first question, you're now consulting in a firm with Richard Clarke, who was at that meeting on July 10th on the central question of whether Rice was warned then of an attack on the U.S. Do we know who's right here, Woodward or Secretary Rice?
No, she was warned. I mean, there was a meeting. It was George Tenet, Dick Clark, another individual from the agency, Cofer Black, and Steve Hadley. And what it was, Keith, was a briefing for Dr. Rice that was similar to a briefing the CIA gave to us in the Situation Room about a week before, laying out the information, the intelligence, laying out the sense of urgency. And it was pretty much given to Dr. Rice and Steve Hadley in pretty stark terms.
The $500 million Cofer Black action plan against bin Laden, would that have read like crazy talk if that had been presented to her as Woodward describes it?
Not crazy talk, but because in some respects that's what we did after 9/11. Although as much as I love and respect Cofer, I don't think we would have been able to bring his head back in a box then, because frankly all the CIA sources in Afghanistan stunk, and that was part of the problem. But that type of aggressive, robust covert action is ultimately what was implemented after 9/11.
There have been reports that neither Secretary Rice nor Director Tenet nor Mr. Black had told the 9/11 Commission about the meeting on July 10th. NBC News learned that the 9/11 Commissioner, Richard Benveniste, and Rice's friend Philip Zelikow, who was the executive director on the panel, in fact did interview Tenet about the meeting. Can you reconcile those two accounts for us?
Yeah, actually, Andrea Mitchell did some great reporting on this today. There was that meeting. It was January 28th, 2004. George Tenet spoke about the July 10th meeting extensively. And as a matter of fact, it is in the notes, the transcripts of that meeting that are now contained in the National Archives. You know, I think this is a case, Keith, where the 9/11 Commission just missed it. I mean, it was there in black and white, and they failed to include it in their report. Now, say for the sake of argument, Phil Zelikow was trying to hide it and protect it. You know Richard Benveniste, there's no way he would have allowed that to happen. So I just think it was a basic oversight by the Commission, very unfortunate, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah, Mr. Black seems to see it in a different way. There's another overlooked passage in this book, and Woodward writes, Black felt there were things the 9/11 Commissions wanted to know about and things they didn't want to know about. Is the implication there that the desire, specifically on the 9/11 Commission for bipartisanship, might have led its members to turn some sort of blind eye to what would be politically volatile information either then or now?
No, I don't think so, Keith. I think the one criticism you can make of the Commission's product is that in the spirit of bipartisanship, they were not as sharp with some of their analysis and conclusions as you would have liked. But the idea that they would have blindly and willfully ignored something like this, given some of the members of that Commission, people I know, I guarantee that was not the case.
And lastly, Roger, about Secretary Rice's sharpness, she famously denied getting any warning before the August 6th PDB came to light. Last week, she denied that Dick Clark gave them a strategy to fight al-Qaeda left over from the Clinton administration. Now she's denying what Tenet and Black say they or apparently told Woodward. Where is Secretary Rice's credibility on this subject of pre-9/11 intelligence right now?
I just don't understand why she keeps denying what has actually happened, because it's really, there's no good reason for it. The 9/11 Commission had it right about the summer of 2001, Keith, which was there was an overwhelming body of evidence, but there was not that sense of urgency in the West Wing of the White House to be proactive and aggressive in going after al-Qaeda and taking proactive steps and directing the interagency to do so. That's what was missing, and I think what you see in Bob Woodward's book is another recitation of that very sad fact.
Roger Cressy, MSNBC terrorism analyst, former director on the National Security Council staff. As always, Roger, great. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Keith.
Also, here, the wake of the Mark Foley scandal. How long had House and party leaders known there was a problem? Why did they do nothing? And could Speaker Hastert actually heed demands from conservatives that he resign? And a nightmare in Pennsylvania, the third school shooting in this country in a week. This time, the carnage at a one-room Amish schoolhouse. The latest ahead on Countdown.